the Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps, Honorable Idris Wase, who today officially declared his interest to becoming the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Honorable Wase, thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight. I know it's been a busy day for you, especially speaking on the sidelines of your event today at the Transcorp Hilton. Give us an understanding of why you decided to go ahead against the will of your party. The party has said, we did not zone it to the North Central. You are from Plateau State, the North Central region. And the party has said, our favorite, our nominee is Tajuddin Abbas.
Well, Sharon, thank you for having me. First of all, I appreciate you. I thank you and thank Nigerians. I think if you read the letter communicating the proposal from the National Working Committee of our party, they never say it cast in stone. Rather, they said these are people they have chosen an advisory. They used the word advisory, and they did mention that this is for further consultation. To Sharon and Nigerians, I want you to be aware that the Nigerian Constitution is very clear. Section 14.3 of the 1999 Constitution stipulates, as amended, that the composition of government of Nigeria or any of its agencies will be carried out in such a manner as to reflect the federal character of Nigeria, thereby ensuring that there is no predominance of persons from a peaceful or ethnic in that government or any agencies. The main thrust of that provision is to bring cohesion and then national development and peaceful coexistence. And I want to believe that if you just listen, you take the position of the constitutional provision and you apply it, you will now know that we have 6 presiding officers, 2 from the executive president and vice president, then you have 4 at the National Assembly. And by providence and nature, we have now 6 geopoliticals in the country. It means then every political zone should have 1 presiding officer that will stand for it. And that's why I think the state consultation, yes. 2, it is against the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I want to believe that for the performance of the North Central, we are justifiably sufficiently equipped and enough, apart from our own contribution to the party, to believe that something should be done, and I think they are going to address it. I want to believe that the party is not it's a party that is listening, and our leaders are listening people.
Let me come to the issue. I'll come to the issue of zoning, but there is this important matter that I'd like you to touch on. Did you consult with the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, about your ambition? Because it's assumed that you, as a Deputy Speaker, by matter of convention, since you are interested in becoming Speaker, you could have been given a chance of forced refusal. Do you feel that was needed?
Well, Sharon, let me say that, just like I said during the declaration, it is contribution in the flow of the House and making the House vibrant, and then the position it has taken today in terms of respect, I think I contributed sufficiently. In terms of party discipline, I have done my best, and I'm doing my best, and I'll continue to do my best. In terms of protecting the interests of our country, I think I'm number 1, and I will continue to do that because my understanding of being National Assembly is for service, and if God gives you this kind of opportunity, one should appreciate and thank him. I want to tell you categorically clear that I consulted with him. I consulted with him. We had a meeting in his house, and I showed my interest. Even prior to this, I want to tell you that we had agreed even with him, assuming the party would allow us, that is before election, myself and himself, to proceed, because all I am after is national development and cohesion. And I believe that we have given good leadership, myself and himself, to our country and to our chambers. And that was why I thought, if that opportunity is there, and that he is no longer interested or because of other issues, I want to believe in any developed democracy. The first you do is look at their ranking. Americans send their best continuously into parliament for what is called pork barrel, or what they will attract. It's not just the pork barrel, it's the sitting arrangement even in every parliament. When you see the people in the front of the meeting, they are the generals who have turned in or have returned to the house severally. And I want to believe that having done so well in terms of contribution, I believe I deserve the right of first refusal.
Honorable Wase, do you feel betrayed by your very good friend that you have worked closely with for 4 years, Femi Gbajabiamila, in this regard?
No. I cannot feel betrayed. It's politics we are doing. Everybody is trying to protect his own interests. Maybe he might have, assuming he's the one who's doing good. I don't want to believe that. I say at times he's the one doing it because I have had discussions with him. He has told me if the party will zone to our own area, he will definitely support me. That shall be his own words. But then, being in position within the hierarchy of the party where discussions are held, I think it is on the responsibility to guide the party very properly, to advise them to say that the procedure and the process they want to take is not the right course. I hold no malice, and I don't think I should do. I'm a leader, and I think we are human. Everybody may be wrong to that kind of fault, but I want to believe that the right thing will be done.
Well, Honorable Wase, with your move today, don't you see it as a defiance that despite the party's position, you're still going ahead? Could this be termed as a disloyalty to the
defiance?
party?
No, I am a very, very loyal party member. I said it during the declaration that in 2015, Chewon and Nigerians should get to know that I was elected by my colleagues, signed for me to be chief whip of the House. And when prevailing reasoning came to allow me, to ask me to step down, I did. And that was how Adodogwa emerged as chief whip. You can ask him. Anytime I see him at that time, I used to tell him I am the authentic chief whip because I was the one that had the mandate. Because of my loyalty to the party, because of my loyalty in terms of good governance, I had to defer and step down for him to be there. And you recall, I became deputy leader of the House, middle of the end of the regime, for 2 years after the demise of our brother, Honorable Buba Jibril. 2019, I suppressed and I made intention. I was very clear I was going to make it. But because of reasoning and wisdom, counseling, and interest from our party leaders, from the president of the country, General Muhammadu Buhari, who we all respect very well, and to our leader and president-elect today, Aswaji, called me alongside with the other governors, Erufai and many party leaders, to ask me to step down. And I willingly did that. I did step down for him. So you should understand my own antecedents. It's for good governance. It's collective bargaining. My background is not that kind of antagonism. And I don't believe in antagonizing my party. I will always do my best in the interest of our own country. And I want to believe that the language in the letter given out by the National Working Committee is sufficient reason for me to proceed with my own ambition for becoming Speaker. I believe that they will come and address this matter. There is no way we want to do justice to a country. We are a nation whereby every entity is sensitive to all the things that are happening. And I think they cannot be insensitive. My party men and leaders are people who have contributed to the development of democracy. They fought for democracy. And alongside, they were in the trenches. Some of them had to leave the country because of impunity then. And that didn't stop them. And I want to believe now that they're back and go to the president's leadership. I'm a very glad and happy person that I'm dealing with people who know the terrain, who understand very well. The president-elect was a former senator, apart from being governor of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The vice president-elect is a sitting senator who understands the language and terrain very well. My chairman of party was a former senator. National secretary of my party was a former senator. So I think we should not overheat the system. Mistake could be done. And maybe at times that is what they call in the information and security circle. They want to push out the security and information to test the ground. Some people may have done that. But I want to believe that the party have a good intention to unite Nigeria and ensure. And if it is in terms of contribution, why would the North Central not have, like I'm talking to you, I've said it over and over, if Southeast would be considered in terms of contribution to the party for a position, I think North Central deserve more. We have 5 governors out of 6. We deliver a very good margin percentage to the party. And we have done exceedingly well in terms of uniting and gathering the party. And the party will benefit more when they have Wase as the Speaker of that entity. Because of my experience, I've presided over the House. I'm not coming to do a new job.
A lot of things will happen in June this year, but pending when the National Assembly is going to be inaugurated for the 10th National Assembly, a lot of politicking is going on. Now, when the APC made an announcement that it has zoned the presiding officer position in the Senate to the South-South for the Senate President, and put a name to it and saying Godswill Akpabio is the party's favorite for that position, and Barao Jibrin from the Northwest, precisely from Kano, is his favorite for the Deputy Senate Presidency, and for the speakership role, they named Honorable Tajuddin Abbas from Kaduna State Northwest for that position, and Honorable Ben Kalu from Abia State South-South region for the Deputy Speaker. But a lot of reactions have trailed it, and there are meetings, Australian, going on. There was a meeting today, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas with the Vice President-elect, Kashim Shettima, met some lawmakers-elect. And allow you to listen to what was said at that event today. First from Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, and you hear also from Senator Kashim Shettima, who is the Vice President-elect.
After June 13, if God makes it, we will be the ones in the realm of leadership, that the National Assembly will be exceptionally lucky. Because in the history of democracy in Nigeria, there has never been a time where you have the number one and the number two being products of the National Assembly. This is the very first time. Our president was a senator. He understands the system very well. You are just an outgoing senator, or by virtue of the election, yeah, he's still an outgoing senator. You understand the system very well. So we believe synergy, working in a mutually beneficial manner will be easy for us, because the language you speak is the language you speak as well. So I want to assure you that we will work harmoniously together, we will cooperate in the best way possible to ensure that Nigeria wins all the time. It will be a win-win situation for both the executive and the legislature.
My own duty, my own assignment is to reach out to all tendencies so that we shall have a rancor pre-10th assembly. As I said earlier, I've started the engagements. I will sustain that engagement. And locally, I will a little bit of influence and respect in the Federal House of Representatives. Members have a very long memory. If you are looking for somebody who has a long memory, get a member of the House of Reps. The warm handshake that you gave him 8 years ago as a governor, he will not forget about that. I want to thank most of the major dramatists personally. I don't want to mention names, but I know of someone here who has been hammering me on Tajuddin Abbas. But at the risk of not causing discord within the family, I won't mention names. But I want to once again thank you for deeming it fit. But this is a work in progress.
So you heard them. Let's get back to the conversation with Honorable Idris Wase. Honorable, from what you see and what you heard, and these going-ons that it has been happening since the party made an announcement, it does look like the stakeholders who made that decision, they've moved on, and they're trying to repair any kind of fracture that could have happened since then ahead of June.
Well, so when there is a structure that when you build and the foundation is very faulty, it will be very difficult to repair. And I give you an example. You cannot build a house, for instance, in a quicksand, and expect that kind of structure to stand. What's happened is that kind of situation. And I want to believe that you listen to the Vice President-elect, you listen to Tajuddin. Tajuddin himself is cleverly and very clever. He never said, I'm the speaker in that statement. And he knows he's not the speaker. because the election of speaker is not done. And even if we want to build consensus, my brother, that is not how consensus are built. We build consensus alongside bringing people and interested parties to discuss and share a lot of ideas and see reasons. And just like I mentioned to you when I stepped down on other two occasions, it has to do with discussions. When there's no discussion and reasoning prevailing, there can be no default consensus. We are Democrats, progressive. And I want to believe the Vice President, you also listen to him very carefully. Work in progress in consultation, work in progress in looking at the political balancing and other issues that have not come up. When they did that, maybe they didn't foresee what is now happening in the country. But the country cannot be allowed to get burned because you can see the agitation. The parties have been dealing with a lot of complaints, and each day they are receiving. Would they not allow the party not to progress so that in 2027 we'll have a good, smooth and good sense? I believe that we want to have a leadership that will stand the test of time, that will be giving the cooperation. I mentioned in my own business. There's no person that has given better cooperation in that parliament. It's not for me to mention in the public domain. I know what sacrifices I have done to stabilize, to ensure that this parliament is what it is today in terms of
But Honorable Wase, I mean, if you look at it,
my colleagues are very much aware of that.
Yeah, if you look at things, with the experience of Bola Tinubu, a former senator, and experience of Kashim Shettima, Femi Gbajabiamila, Oluremi Tinubu, these are former lawmakers who understand the politics and the internal horse trading that happens when a leadership is about to be formed. Don't you think there's a lot of wisdom that has gone into it? Your party national chairman, a former a very experienced lawmaker, the national secretary of your party, also an experienced lawmaker. All of these put together, don't you think that they've thought about this very clearly and they have their facts together as to the decision they made?
Thank you very much, Seun. You see, the most perfect person on earth that we know may be an angel. Anything called human work, you should expect some errors and deviations. That is part of human error. I do not believe that there was a thorough discussion on that. If there was a thorough discussion, the first thing to do was to place the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the table to look at what are the provisions in terms of what they were about to do. And I want to believe that I'm a civil engineer from the background, but because of my interest in equitable distribution, I chaired Federal Character Committee in the House of Representatives for 8 years. And this is what is informing me to tell you that no portion or part of this country will be left, and then you have peace. No. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our leader, our president, we know him. He's somebody who harnesses resources, who build people, who build capacity, who believe in the unity of our country. In his house, there is nothing called religion. In his house, there is nothing called tribalism. In his house is somebody that we know that he is a Nigerian and a thorough Nigerian.
Seems to be some technical glitches there with the connection with Honorable Idris Wase, the Deputy Speaker, who today officially declared his interest to become the Speaker of the 10th National Assembly. Of course, he's been telling us his reaction to some of the internal workings of the party based on the position of the party on zoning and the name that has been released officially for the presiding officer positions. Of course, when we wonder where next, some of them, the likes of Idris Wase, the likes of Aliyu Betara, Yusuf Gadi, Mariam Onuoha, where are they going to turn at this very critical time? But let me ask you, Deputy Speaker, I see that your connection is back. Where do you go from here? Would you still go on, even if the party insists that this is what we are going to take to the National Assembly, this particular position that we have? If they do not change their mind and they insist on the day of the election, would you still go ahead, or you be a party man to step down? And as you have always considered and stepped down, Would you go in that direction, or what would you do?
Why do you want to predict and project my leaders as if they are insensitive people? They are not. They are very sensitive people. They are Nigerians. They are leaders who believe in the unity of our country. And I don't want to go to the negative. They will do the neutral. Maybe because I want to reason. But I want to tell you.
What if they don't? What if they don't? I imagine that they must have had their facts together before they put out that position. Don't you think so? I don't see any of them as flippant people. I see them as methodical people who are very careful about their decision. It does look to me that, in fact, coming out with this position early enough is to test the waters and try to salvage the situation before the election, so that every aggrieved person who they would have doused the tension ahead of the election in June. Don't you think so?
No, they are not flippant people. I know they are not, and that's why they will do the right thing, because I believe that the first assignment they will carry on assumption of office, it is so to out of office. And in that so out of office, they will say they will respect the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And in that Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there's that provision of Section 14.4. Will you expect them to go against the provision of the Constitution? I don't think you have to be fair to them. You have to be fair to them. They are very excellent people that I will all respect in the country. So that is sufficient ground for me to believe that they will not proceed in the negative, the other direction.
Deputy Speaker,
they will rather come in the correct direction.
Deputy Speaker, just in 30 seconds, we need to go.
Yes.
Should the party insist on this position, what is one single danger that you think could happen?
The party went around the country to enhance votes, and they got votes from the central. They don't have anything to saline the North Central, and so the party will not do that. I want to believe. I'm very positive.
What I mean, is there any danger? Does it have any implication?
We have contributed. No. They will not even do that. Forget about the danger. There's nothing called danger, because that will not happen.
Okay.
The right thing will be done.
I love your optimism, but it's a very strange optimism coming from a very experienced politician, and I know that you have been very diplomatic tonight, hoping that every sense of reasoning will be considered. Thank you so much, Honorable Idris Wase. And I know you're a very dogged man, and I wish you the very best in the coming days. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.